broke ass.
Guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the people's mayor. So, you guys doing a lot of snitching, and y'all went and got my site.
Answer, because you are that. Answer, because you are that. You are capable. You are gifted, and you are so unique. All of the things that you may hate about yourself are your strengths. It's okay to be soft. It's okay to be opinionated. It's okay to be different. And it's so okay to just be. The world awaits to receive you.
Uh-oh. Blessings, blessings. Sorry, I had to be my own producer real quick. Let me get myself together. I am running super late. It was one of those days I had a lot going on, and then y'all know what happened. I got tired. I was talking to my daughter. She was like, "You ain't start your live? You must be sleepy." I was like, "Yeah, I had to take a little nap." I hope you guys are having a great Friday. We switch it up. We're going to switch it up just a little bit. I hope you want to chill, because it seemed like this live is going to be a little bit long, not long-winded, not by my by me wanting to, but I do want to get down and into the facts. So we're going to talk a little bit about Thornton, a little bit about Dolton, Henyard, and Mr. Mayor Clark. But before that, before we do anything, we want to put some good stuff on the screen. Please hit the like button. We have some updates for next week as well. I hope I can pull this up real quick. We want to show you some good stuff. What's happening in Thornton? It really brought a smile to my face. I don't know if it's the direct one that they use in Thornton Township and Dolton, but we do have an example. All right, but before we get to that, let's put Henyard on the screen. Drinking a lot of juice. I'm feeling all bloated. I think it was water.
It is over.
All right, so Tiffany has got herself in the news. Tiffany could be jailed if she doesn't show up for court Friday, and I would assume that was today. So we have an update on that, and I'm going to give y'all my honest opinion on this story.
Former Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is expected in court today for failing to produce records in a lawsuit against her in the village. It is over documents she has not handed over as part of a Freedom of Information Act request. A judge previously said Henyard could be fined $1,000 a day if she doesn't give the documents to the plaintiff's lawyer. If Henyard doesn't show up to court today, she could be thrown in jail.
All right, so
He's been identified.
What I wanted to do was look at the old filing of what he was looking for, because I'm a little confused of to why they're still seeking for Henyard to come in. I'm just going to be honest, because she is not the Freedom of Information Officer, or she's not the mayor right now. But I do know that the findings previously is that they sided with Edgar Watchdog, as well as we did hear previously that they were looking to do like a settlement or something, right? Y'all remember? So I don't even know why is it this far at this point, or do the news need something to talk about? I'm just a little confused. But this was the finding of the whole filing. So we're just going to get to that, because this is a 7-page document, and we have a long broadcast to get through. So findings and conclusion: after fully examining and giving full consideration to the information submitted by the Public Access Council of Review and the applicable law attorney, general findings on November 29th, 2023, Mr. Andrews Scooter, on behalf of WGN-TV, submitted a Freedom of Information request to the Village of Dolton seeking copies of records showing payments, showing payments made to the Village of Dolton that lease of the mayor village vehicle, so that he wanted the lease information and monthly credit card statements from June 1st, 2023, and to the date of the request, as of to the date of the request on December 15th, 2023. Mr. Scooter, I may be saying his name wrong, submitted the document. The documents requested to file a request to review. So this is when he sent it to public access counselor to review, that the village had not responded. All right, so then his request for review was timely filed. We know that, so that's why they moved forward. On December 27, 2023, Public Access Bureau forwarded a copy. This is the steps, basically. And this is something that we're going through right now. So let me just break it down to you. You put a Freedom of Information request in. They have 5 days usually. I give them 5. I usually give them about 5 to 14 days, just being flexible, but it's 5 days, business days. And usually what I would do is make another correspondence to see if they got it. And if they don't respond, then the next step is to forward it to the Public Access Bureau. This is the mandatory steps that you have to do before you can file a lawsuit. They have to make the determination if whatever the party you're requesting your information from is withholding it lawfully, responded lawfully, or whatever may be the situation. Even if it's redacted, you want them to look at it, or they're giving you partial, things like that. So I'm going back and forth with the public access councils, and they're pretty good people. Those were the people that I was telling you a while ago. They basically said, well, we know who you are, and we've been trying to get in contact with the Illinois State Police. They're very hard to get in contact with, and they told me I was the only one that had issues with them. And they started talking about, excuse me, the transition of Dolton, what was going on there. And, just for me to be mindful. And I was like, yes, I do know, one of the people that's sharing information. So they work pretty hard. The Public Access Bureau counselors, just to give a shout out to them. We'll be giving you an update on some of our cases that's on hold with them on Tuesday. Okay, because today we were supposed to, look, I had something black on my lip. Today we were supposed to do the S. Hobsons, but because other stuff is going on, I said, let me just get it while the block is hot. Let's do a little deep dive on all 3. And then we'll do S. Hobsons on Tuesday. I'm saying Monday or Tuesday because I want to go into new Supreme Court findings and a little bit more details into the case, okay? Just how we break it down, because as we talk about the Lexus case, we disclose more and more. So basically with this public access finding, I believe he was waiting to see what was the outcome from the Public Access Bureau so he can move forward with the lawsuit. So that's where we're at. But to my understanding, they were already addressing this particular issue. And that's why I'm confused, because the things that they're asking for are things that should be available through the finance office in Dolton and not typically Henyard. So I'm going to be honest, just to give you my opinion. I think that this was just kind of something to talk about, something to put Tiffany's name inside of the air, because this is an update from Kurt. Because I know they're not going to lock her up. Come on, they ain't lock her up for the possible misappropriation of funds, and they're going to lock her up for this. And she not the mayor no more. So let's just watch what Kurt had to say. This was 3 hours.
I don't know how many saw the court hearing. So there is no arrest warrant issued for Tiffany. She managed to go in by Zoom. She said, someone trying to represent her, who's representing her in other cases, who also did not file an appearance, stated that she was out of town but here on Zoom. Now, I've got word that she was in town on Tuesday. Where the hell she's at, don't know. I think she's full of shit.
Yeah.
If anyone sees her, particularly today, snap a goddamn picture of that bitch. I think the only people that believed her was the judge. It's amazing what you can do on Zoom. Hell, I can say I'm in fucking Cleveland right now. She is being fined $1,000 a day until she produces the records. Next court date is next Friday, and I think that is 2:00. And if the judge finds that basically Tiffany's got to A, show up in person, and B, produce the records, then she will not be fined $1,000. Of course, since she wasn't here, Kamal's not here, so I got to go hunting for his bitch ass. Now, Tiffany also said that she was not served. She said that on the Zoom. That's a bunch of goddamn bullshit. She was legally served. I'm going to leave it at that. And her father called her afterwards, after he saw the papers. There is no fucking way. She could say she wasn't served. No, she was served. I believe there's going to be another set of documents, so I'll get to go down and hang out with her dad again. He's actually a nice guy. I got nothing against her or anyone else in the family for that matter. Her dad's cool, but that's where we stand. So whoever, I know with the betting pools, whoever had Tiffany going in by Zoom, you're the winners. And after being told a couple of times that she had to be in court in person, she actually had the gall to ask, can I come in on Zoom? Nah, fuck that. Judge said, no, you've got to come in because you're going to be sworn and you're going to testify. So we'll see what happens. But again, anybody sees her anywhere in Dolton, get pictures and get them over to me because I'm going to hang this bitch. Peace out.
Okay, that was heavy. Now, one of the things I'm just going to say, in my opinion, I think the action is brought towards the town. I think it's brought towards the village of Dolton. We know Tiffany was hindering things up and threatening people, the Southside MO. But when it comes to operating in your capacity, she was operating in a capacity as a mayor at that time. And I know it's correspondence allegedly within his filings that pulls Keith Freeman in it as well, because it says, having received no response on December 14, 2023, Mr. Scoot sent an email forwarding November 29th request to Keith Freeman, the village administrator, and a copy to the village clerk Keys. Mr. Delgado and the property attorney in capacity, requesting these documents. Now, mind you, what he's requesting is a copy of documents totaling the amount that Tiffany got paid in 2023, a copy of the current lease of Mayor Henyard's village vehicle, and a copy of monthly statements of any and all village credit cards from June 2023 to present. Now, let me just say what's my opinion, especially dealing with these freedom of information requests and kind of making leeway. One of the first things I would do was pull Henyard out of the lawsuit and make it directly towards the freedom of information officers and whoever's acting in the capacity. Now, if they're going to be witness to the offense or the things that happen throughout the proceedings, if it goes that far, yeah, that makes sense. But as far as her, and now she's saying that she did not get served, my opinion to Kurt is to pull her out of it so she don't have to get served, and it's not a whole bunch of hokey pokey if you really want these documents. The next thing that I will say is what I have done is make supplemental requests to adjacent requests that has not been responded to, and that's not Dolton, that's actually Illinois State Police. Like, for instance, his request that I'm going to put up there, I'm just going to show you, is full and is voluminous. So yeah, I've been down there, I've been watching and I've been creeping. One thing that I'm going to do, I ain't going to lose. If I know I make a mistake or if they got something that can hold me, I'm going to be the one that try to work around it and do things correctly. So here, what I have learned, hold on one second. Let me just make sure I got everything. Okay, what I have learned with this right here, with the request, a copy of monthly statements from any and all village credit cards from June 1st, 2023 to 2000 present. They can squash that. They can say that that's too voluminous and that basically he has to be more specified in his request. That's just like when I made a request for the full report of Alexis investigation, and they said, it's this amount of documents and this amount of videos and it's too voluminous after a while of not responding. So I made modifications and they still shucking and jiving, but that gives the case more merit to show, one, that you tried to specify what you want, breaking it down. Because usually I don't go above a year or two when I'm asking for documents. I'm not going to say for 10 years. I'm going to break it down in smaller frames so they won't have the ability to say that it's too voluminous. So that's kind of my opinion on just saying any and all. That's one of the things that I learned. Don't use any and all in your freedom of information request. Don't. You can say documents related to or things like that, but the any and all, just try to work around that because that gives them more room to deny it. A copy of the current lease of Mayor Henyard's village vehicle. So what I would do to work around that is, I would focus on vehicles or reimbursement paid to government officials between this time and this time. And if that doesn't encumbrance Mayor Henyard vehicle, then I'll do what I did. And what I'm waiting on is the enterprise contract and what vehicles they lease, that type of stuff. Okay. So it's ways that he can modify it. I think I'm just kind of throwing that out there to kind of possibly before made it move a little faster and receive something. And as I say, to stop all this running around allegedly now in the court matter is to pull Henyard out of it. Because now it's all just shucking and jiving. Now it's literally just we hate Henyard, like it's a hate train. And when you're going after somebody in their private capacity, that's when it can turn into stalking and shit like that. And not saying to serve someone and look for them is stalking, but I'm just talking about other people. When she's outside of this capacity of mayor, you have more liability on you when you reporting like frivolous shit. I'm just being honest. That's why I'm not beat for Henyard. I'm beat for the facts. As I've always been beat on exposing what happened, who did it, and how it happened. Yeah, see, I don't really talk about Henyard too much because she's not the object of my afflictions. It was the actions. It was the actions for me. You see what I'm saying? So again, just to close off, I think he said copy of documents sufficient to show the total payments to Tiffany Henyard in 2023. That also can be hard to determine because she made a lot of payments, maybe through her to other people. So it can say related to her compensation, related to any contracts that she directly initiated. Does that make sense? So I just kind of wanted to go over that with you guys. I pray that his proceedings goes forward. And now it sounds like I don't even understand if she showed up for court via Zoom. How could she say that she was not notified, but you knew you had to go to Zoom? So that's where we talk about the Southside connections, dog. Because the judge should have said, no, you got notice, you're here, the proceedings are moving forward. But it didn't happen because they want to keep on shucking and jiving, giving the lawyer a little bit more money. So shout out to you, Kurt and Edgar Watchdog, that's still pursuing this. But at the end of the day, some of that information about the credit cards was actually on Dolton Politics too. Y'all know I've been hunting, pulling shit together. I'm trying to go the path of least resistance, that I don't have to be filing lawsuits against people. You know what I'm saying? Because I really don't want it to go that far because that could take up to years. But you know what it is. That goes to say I love you guys. I'm going to be back live on Tuesday with the S. Hobson, with the Officer Carlson, and all of our guerrilla warfare. Over the weekend, I'm going to break this up and make each subject together and just keep y'all entertained. And until then, you know what we doing over here, baby.
Guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the people's mayor. So, you guys doing a lot of snitching.
Don't let my snitching fool you. I love a good jam. And I'm S-I-N-G-L-E again. Outside hanging out the window with my ratchet ass friends. Let's go!
Go, Karen.
Let's go!
Leader, they want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet. The mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work. Y'all forget I am the leader.